Hi, hey everybody. Sorry I haven't been around for a while. It's been quite some time, just over 5 months since I've got on here to talk to you guys. But now that we're wrapping up the summer and I kind of feel healed enough with all the excess energy we've been all having to pour out just because life is life, getting to celebrate the World Cup, especially seeing our boy Erling Haaland just absolutely go ham just all summer long, just renewed my love of athletics. And so even though it's been a while since I recorded, all because, life gets busy, sometimes doing our jobs takes all of our energy just to get through. And sometimes I think we all need a little time to live before we have something worth saying again. This year, it's come to an end. And like every year, there are moments I'm incredibly proud of. There are moments I wish I could have back. There were goals we just couldn't reach, and there were goals we just didn't. And all that had me thinking, why is it that we can accomplish so much and still spend so much time thinking about what we didn't accomplish? So coming up short. As humans, coaches, as athletes, as parents, as children of God, we all know what it feels like to come up short. Maybe you missed something that was important to you, whether it be an assembly for your child, a sibling, yourself. Maybe it was a championship competition that you didn't qualify for, or you didn't get that promotion at work, whatever it is. It could be just as simple as getting a goal time, or just being able to do everything right, and someone else was simply having a better day than you, and it prevented you from being able to do what you wanted to do. That doesn't erase all that work that you did or everything that you built. Sometimes we become so focused on what didn't happen that we completely miss what we actually did, what growth we had, the relationships we built, and the confidence that we earned to have because of everything that we did. We built our character, we formed a better character that we could be, and all of that is still important. It doesn't matter. And this year it reminded me of that silent grind that we've touched on. I personally felt very unseen this year, with the exception of a big award that I was a national finalist for. Shout out to my athletes and my wife and my family for pushing me to actually go to the awards ceremony, because I'll be honest, I knew I wasn't going to win. I did not want to go, but my mother-in-law paid for most of my trip actually. My wife really pushed me to go, and made sure that we had somebody to watch our kids, which I got a new third kid, freaking 13 months now. He is exhausting. Absolutely just exhausting. And my kiddos, my team, they actually had like a party to watch me not get the award, but get to watch me get up on stage, be handed like a plaque because I was a finalist, so I got an award. Top 8 coach in the nation is kind of cool for this is just high school cross country, so it was pretty cool. But I mean, things that I need to remember to be proud about specifically, and I'm going to say them here. So sorry for a little bit of that bragginess that's going to go on right now. But, I had teams that made top 4 in our Northwest region of the nation. They had so many personal bests and athletes that are reaching another performance level or even extending their careers by making it to college, which is just phenomenal, or just they hit that mark that they're feeling so much more confident that they are willing to stay out and keep working hard. But all my students that I was personally in charge of, they graduated and they finished the school year. My athletes finished the season with having the results they should have to be able to hold their heads high. But I'm genuinely proud of the fact that I get to continue teaching and coaching. I wish I could teach more life lessons through history and philosophy rather than what I am teaching right now, but I'm very, very happy that I get to work with students that are on IEPs, and our school is going to a little bit different structure, that I get to be more involved in the general education classroom next year, so I'm excited about that. But I mean, that is a great lead into things that didn't happen. I actually teach at one school in my city, and I coach at another school in the city. And, I applied for a job at the school that I coach at, didn't get it. So I know, kind of sad about that, because I really felt like I was, wrongly passed over with it. But, that happens in life. We just got to keep grinding, keep believing in ourselves and doing what we need to do. But we got to remember, when we're actually like trying to do that, we can't make it just about defending the year that we had. It needs to be more about like appreciating everything that we went through and all the work that we put in, because we ourselves are better when we can reflect and meditate on that. And I hate that. I hate when I say so I apologize, everybody. There's another lesson this season and that this year reminded me of, and it's no matter how hard you work, no matter how much you care, you cannot make everybody happy. Some people will love what you're doing, whether it's how you're talking to them, whether it's how you teach, whether it's how you coach, and how you parent. Some people just won't like it, whether it's because you're doing it differently than them. They just don't like you because you are you and they are them. Some people will just immediately believe in you immediately, and they're going to do what you say or just like what you're doing. And others will spend years doubting you and even undermining you, and then one day apologizing to you. And it's crazy how life and time can help you find things that you need to switch over and try and do. And so one of the things I've had to learn through my years of coaching, which, I'm in my 13th year of coaching right now. In the world of coaching and teaching, I'm still very young. In parenting, I am incredibly young. And coaching, with parenting and teaching, regardless of the success that I have had in some people and some others, each are going to think that there's always going to be people that think that experience always equals wisdom, or others are just going to know because they did it and they had personal success, whether it was because of their work ethic or because somebody helped them. They're going to think that they just know better than you. And parents think time and time again that like you're not there to help their child to be the very best, or that you're holding them back because of decisions that you made, whether like that's at the high school level or even if that's at the elementary level. And it's ridiculous. Why would we want to hold anybody back as a coach? Why would we want to hold anybody back as a teacher? And just we can't let that distract us, because that's always going to be there. And being a parent myself with my own kids coaching, I'm always going to think that I can do a better job than the coach that it is. But if I really believe that, why am I not just coaching them myself? But obviously, I don't have time to do that. I already do way more than I need to or should. That's probably a better way to put it. I do more than I can. And so trying to put more on my plate is not going to happen. And that's the lesson for a lot of us. And so we can't let these things distract us. Others will always like to see these tangible successes, whether it means, getting straight A's or varsity minutes, or that you're doing it their way. But that's not the case. And it's bothered me less and less each year, and it weighs on me less and less. And so ultimately, as I've been doing my own studies on the side outside of what I had to for when I was getting my own schooling and trying to keep up on all the new things that we got to keep doing for education. I'm okay striving to be like the Civil War general George H. Thomas rather than striving to be like Phil Jackson when it comes to people that know me or appreciate me. I find a lot of brotherhood with the likes of the MLB manager, Coach Lou, Pinelli, or even Mike Leach. I really feel like Coach Lou, Coach Leach, I have a lot of similar difficulties for the organizations that I work in. And I've realized my job isn't to convince everyone that I'm great. My job is to become better every single year. The results will speak long after the opinions have faded. Humility and confidence can exist together, FYI. And so even though I was kind of braggy at the beginning, I can still be a humble, confident person without having to apologize about the quick little brag or, the mistakes that I've made. I can still be confident and still be humble. Something like that is something I wish I could have understood earlier, specifically with humility. Humility is being honest about your gifts while staying teachable enough to keep growing. I know I still have a lot to learn personally. I hope 10 years from now, I look back and realize how much I didn't know today. But I also don't have to apologize for the work that I've put in. I've worked hard for the things that I've achieved, and I'm proud of myself. But I'm not overzealous, and I'm not very prideful about it. I've spent many hours learning. I've had to learn from my mistakes every season and year that I've done. For my friends, my students, my athletes who have taught me personally, confidence and humility don't compete with one another. they make each other better. So as we finished 1 year and are preparing for this next year right now, celebrate what you've built. Learn from what didn't work or even what you weren't able to achieve. Don't spend your life chasing approval from people who may never get it. And you can't live your life always looking for the next award, looking for the next round of applause that you want to get. I mean, you can't lead merely by just taking a vote sometimes. Sometimes it needs to be making those hard decisions and being disliked for a bit, because sometimes you do know that what needs to be done, because we're taking a broader look at so many things when it comes to our lives. So you can't become who you're meant to become if you're constantly trying to become who everyone else wants you to be, because that's going to be ever changing. So be humble enough to learn, be confident enough to keep leading, and remember, not every year ends with a trophy, but every year leaves you with something. The question is, what will you carry into the next one so that you can run free, run fierce, and run wild?